All right, hello there, welcome back to another wee bit of video. Today's video, we are going to talk about the NFL playoff picture after this week's matchups. And to be honest with you, it was a phenomenal week, and I'll do my entire reaction video to all the games tomorrow, so that'll be on Tuesday for you guys. Now, just talking about the playoff seedings and how the playoff picture looks, it's getting spicy, it's getting juicy. Looking at the AFC, we have the Chiefs at the number 1 spot. Bills at the number 2, which if the Bills went out and the Chiefs lose just 1 game, is it? Or is it 2 games? I think the Chiefs have to, the Chiefs have to lose 2 games for the Bills to get the first seed. So if the Chiefs beat the Steelers on Christmas Day, they're going to rest their starters. Steelers are at 10-5, still have the division lead, and they are in playoffs guaranteed, but they definitely want that division. Texans, they are 9-6. They are in the division lead. They do play on Christmas though, but what's done is done. They're making the playoffs. They clinch the division. The Ravens, who are still fighting for that number 1 spot in the division. The Ravens at 10-5, still fighting for that number 1 spot in the division. And then this is where things get interesting. We got Chargers and Broncos at 9-6, the both of them. Now let's talk about the teams in the hunt. And again, this is where it gets good. There are only 2 spots available in the AFC playoff picture, but the Chargers and Broncos can clinch them as early as next week with the help of a rare fair catch kick. We all saw that, but again, we'll talk about that tomorrow. The Chargers help themselves to beat the Broncos. Now, for the Bengals to make the playoffs, they're one of the teams in the hunt. They would need to beat the Broncos this upcoming Sunday, and then they would absolutely need the Chiefs to beat the Broncos in that final game. And then, of course, the Bengals have to win their final game still. So it's getting interesting, to say the least, up to this point. For the Dolphins, they have to win out, just like the Colts. I don't know the exact road, though, for the Dolphins. I think they need the Chargers to lose. Okay, so Chargers and Broncos would have to lose twice for the Dolphins. I don't know. The Dolphins seem like they're in a bit of a tough scenario. I don't know if they had tiebreaker against Cincinnati. At the very least, though, it's getting spicy. I don't think the Colts would do much damage in the playoffs, to be honest with you, just because I don't think Anthony Richardson is ready. And the Dolphins, if they play in the Colts again, I think it's Jover. If they don't play in the Colts again with Tua back, if Tua was healthy this entire season, they would be in the playoffs, to be honest with you. They would probably have a better record than the Chargers and Broncos, looking maybe at 10-5, or I guess they could be 9-6 because they're 7-8. But man, there's some games that they definitely should have won if Tua was healthy. Bengals would be a very interesting team in the playoffs just because they're such a glass cannon kind of team. Granted, their defense has played better these past 2 weeks, but not against great teams. So, I'm kind of rooting for the Bengals to make playoffs. I think they'd make a very entertaining playoff team for sure. So Indiana wins the head-to-head tiebreaker over Miami, and also has a better win percentage in conference matchups than Cincinnati. But to be honest with you, Colts winning out, who do the Colts play? I have a hard time thinking the Colts don't win out. The Giants and the Jags. Going to the NFC, we have the Lions at the 1 seed, 13-2. Eagles at the 2 seed, suffering an embarrassing loss, all things considered. If your defense forces 5 turnovers, Devontae Smith also got to make a catch to end the game. He was wide open, missed a catch. Terrible loss for the Eagles, but still the 2nd seed at 12-3. If Jalen Hurts is healthy, then you're fine. And it seems like it's a concussion, and maybe he can come back after a week or 2. So Eagles are still going to be fine. Rams 9-6. Falcons 8-7. They're still fighting for their playoff lives, with the Buccaneers having the same record as them. Vikings 13-2. Packers 10-4. Commanders 10-4. Okay, this is spicy. So the Vikings play the Lions in the final week. So assuming that they win next week, which is still a tough order because the Packers are a good team, for the Vikings to play against them, that's going to be tough. But if the Vikings and Lions both win next week, they're going to be fighting for that number 1 seed, which would be really crazy, to be honest with you. That would be an amazing football game. Probably get flexed to Sunday night or some kind of more spotlight game than those 10 a.m. games. But wow, Lions and Vikings would be crazy. Anyway, Packers and Commanders rounded out at 10-4 and 10-5. Packers probably going to win tomorrow, though, against who they play, the Saints. Yeah, probably going to win tomorrow. So We'll see. So at this point in time, unfortunately for the Arizona Cardinals, they choked. They lost to the Panthers in a must-win game. The Seahawks are still in it. It is not impossible, but it is significantly harder. The Rams won the first game. If the Seahawks won that last game against the Rams, they would be tied. Their tiebreaker would be tied. So it would go down to a bunch of other tiebreakers. I think it's strength of schedule. Yeah, the Seahawks' strength of victory would decide the West Crown. In that case, Seattle would need several other games to work in its favor to advance. So, in all honesty, they really do need a Rams loss next week, or they're going to leave it to chance and not really be in control of their own destiny. So, good luck, but I think the Rams play Arizona. And since Arizona, was eliminated, they might try to play, playoff spoiler, but James Conner hurt his knee this past game, so he might not be healthy. It's going to be interesting to see what unfolds. Not looking great for Seattle, but they got a shot. Buccaneers as well. And then this is our projected NFL draft order. Giants are number 1. Patriots number 2. Jaguars 3. Titans 4. Browns 5. Raiders 6. 7 is Panthers. If they can surround Bryce Young with talent, that could be an interesting team. Jets at number 8. 9 Bears. Bears have the talent. Definitely do. Need a better O-line, 100%. Caleb Williams is very promising. They could do a lot with the right coaching staff. And again, a better offensive line would be huge. Saints at number 10. To be honest with you, the Raiders winning today against the Jaguars really did not help their cause. They need a quarterback. Aiden O'Connell, has he gotten better? Yes. Is he still good? No. The Giants, though, they're going to draft a quarterback, presumably, and pair him with Malik Neighbors, and the Giants could be scary. If they land on that quarterback, and again, it's the number 1 pick, it could get scary for the NFC East because Cowboys are going to be healthy next year. Get their defensive players back, get Dak back, which is obviously important. The Eagles are still really, really good. The Commanders still have Jaden Daniels and are still going to be good. The NFC East can be such a headache if the Giants get good next year, which is very possible if they, keep that spot at number 1. Patriots, they could surround Drake May with talent. Jaguars are 1 year removed from the playoffs, so maybe they get back into form. Trevor Lawrence is healthy again. All these picks. I think the Titans are still in trouble because let's say, they draft a quarterback. I think there's still other problems, with that team and that they just don't have the weapons, period, to surround their offense with enough talent to be an offensive powerhouse, even with the quarterback. And their defense is lacking as well. I'm not sure about the Titans. I think the Titans are definitely going to be in rebuild mode for a little bit. Browns, especially, since they signed Deshaun Watson, they put themselves in cap hell, signing him to a huge contract that he's obviously not deserving of. Raiders is going to be interesting. I can go on. And as of right now, it's all hypotheticals because this is not final. We still have 2 more weeks of football. And honestly, if I'm putting my own input, I would like to see the Buccaneers get in here one way or another. That's the thing is, though, the NFC is so stacked. I don't want to see Seattle in here. To be honest with you, I think the Rams are probably a better team, make for more entertaining games. If Seattle is in here, I think they'll lose the first round. To be honest, the Rams will... I don't know. Let's see. The Rams would play the Packers if the playoffs ended today. So the Lions would get the bye. Eagles would play the Commanders. That would be fucking crazy. Rams, Packers, Falcons, Vikings. I'd rather see the Buccaneers than the Falcons. I think they're more of a threat to beat the Vikings. And it's not because I want the Vikings to lose. I just want to see some good, close football games. And I think the Vikings would probably just outright beat the Falcons right now. That would be crazy. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It's looking like that's what it's going to be. Eagles really choked today, and getting that first round bye is such a big deal. And the Lions really put themselves in position. Now it's not over again, but if playoffs were to end today, this is where we'd be at. And then if we're talking about in the hunt, I would much rather see the Dolphins or the Bengals over both Chargers and Broncos. Reason being is I think the Bengals would be the most entertaining team to add onto here. And the Dolphins as my second is because I like the Dolphins, man. I got a lot of their fantasy players. Devon Achane. I got Tua. He hasn't been great, but I still got him on my team. I got Jonnu Smith. So I've been rooting for them for a lot of the season. It's just kind of where I'm at right now. Like, hey, I would like to see these guys in the playoffs. Devon Achane has pushed me to the fantasy championship. It would be cool. But, you know, in terms of my own bias aside, I think the Bengals would be much more entertaining than either the Broncos or the Chargers. Broncos and Chargers, if you ask me, aren't going to beat the Bills, the Chiefs, the Steelers, the Ravens. Is it possible? Of course. I really, really, really would like, you know, the Bengals to get in. That would be entertaining. Even if they lose the first round, dude, I guarantee you it's going to be a crazy fun game just because their offense is so high powered. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, Joe Burrow. Who wouldn't want to see that in the playoffs? Who would not? If the Colts get in, I'm going to be disappointed because that just wouldn't be fun. The Colts are going to lose the first round. AR is not ready. He's not ready, but we'll see. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. Maybe they win the first round if they get into the playoffs. Who knows? As always, though, I appreciate you guys for watching. What does your ideal playoff bracket look like? Who do you think will make the playoffs? As always, though, I appreciate you for watching. This is Holly Been Different. We've been different. And we out.